The Miami Dolphins are in a critical spot, and the pressure, on and off the field, is mounting. It's been nearly a year since they last brought in veterans Justin Houston and Bruce Irvin for that crucial playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And yet, here we are, still talking about one of the team's most glaring weaknesses, edge rusher consistency. This isn't just a problem. It's a crisis that's been brewing, and it's hitting at the worst possible time. Let's get right into it. Linebacker Tyus Bowser, who was supposed to be a stopgap solution after Jaylon Phillips was lost to a season-ending knee injury, is now on injured reserve. A knee and calf injury sidelined Bowser this week, and it's clear that his availability was already hanging by a thread. He was listed as questionable leading into Week 12, but still managed to log 3 full practices and play 30 snaps against the New England Patriots. That makes this latest development all the more frustrating. This team can't catch a break when it comes to keeping their edge rushers healthy and effective. Bowser, picked up from the Seattle Seahawks practice squad, wasn't supposed to be a game-changer. But he gave Miami 7 games, 10 tackles, and 4 hurries, steady if unspectacular production. Now, with him gone and Phillips already shelved, what's next? All eyes are shifting to the potential return of Bradley Chubb and Cameron Good, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's no official timeline for either player, and while Coach Mike McDaniel is keeping things optimistic, mentioning that there have been no setbacks, the reality is clear. Miami's defense needs help now, not eventually. And let's not sugarcoat it, the pass rush has been a glaring weak spot. Thursday night's game against the Green Bay Packers laid it bare for everyone to see. Jordan Love had far too much time in the pocket, and the Dolphins couldn't bring him down even once. It's the same story we've seen all season. Miami ranks 29th in the league with just 1.8 sacks per game. For a team that came into this year with playoff aspirations, that kind of production is unacceptable. Sure, rookie Chop Robinson has shown flashes of promise, racking up 3.5 sacks in his last 5 games. But he's not supposed to be the guy carrying the load in his first season. He was the 21st overall pick, someone expected to develop into a cornerstone, not be thrust into the spotlight immediately. Then there's Emmanuel Ogbah, who has matched Robinson's sack total but hasn't exactly been lighting up the stat sheet otherwise. 6 other defenders on this roster have managed a single sack apiece. That's not enough. It's just not. Look at the interior, and you'll find Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell leading the team in sacks with 4 apiece. It's not often that your defensive tackles outshine your edge rushers in the pass rush department, but here we are. And let's be clear, this isn't just a lack of production from individuals. This is a systemic issue. The Dolphins have only managed 21 sacks through 12 games. To put that into perspective, the Denver Broncos lead the league with 44 sacks. Miami's total isn't even half of that. Think about that for a second. At 5-7, this team is teetering on the edge of playoff contention. The margin for error is razor-thin, and every week brings a new challenge. Can they still make it? Sure, if they run the table. But let's be honest, it's hard to see that happening when the defense can't consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks. The Dolphins aren't just falling short of expectations, they're being exposed in the most critical areas. And while injuries are certainly part of the story, they're not the whole story. This defense was supposed to be better. With a roster that includes talent like Phillips, before his injury, Chubb, Ogbah, and a promising rookie in Robinson, expectations were high. Yet, the reality has been starkly different. The lack of edge pressure doesn't just hurt in obvious ways, like giving quarterbacks more time to throw. It trickles down to the entire defense. The secondary has to hold coverage longer. Linebackers are stretched thinner. It's a domino effect, and right now, it's collapsing. So where does Miami go from here? The return of Chubb and Good would certainly help, but it's far from a guaranteed solution. Even if they come back, how effective will they be? And what about the long-term picture? This isn't the first time the Dolphins have struggled to maintain continuity at edge rusher. It feels like every year, There's a new plan, a new patchwork approach, and every year, it falls apart. Is it time to rethink the entire strategy when it comes to building this defense? One thing is clear, this team needs answers, and it needs them fast. The offense has its own struggles, but when you're talking about winning in December and beyond, it often comes down to defense. Can you get off the field on third down? Can you force turnovers? Can you make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks? Right now, the Dolphins aren't doing those things consistently, and it's costing them games.